private guy. I live a private life.
Yeah.
You know, so I go. I'm with the OG. You know, Keith Miles, and I'm like, yo, Keith, these kids is requesting me, like my family. And he said, well, clear your family off and accept them. Just come with the territory. You're gonna make a prediction. You got to stand on that.
Right.
You got to accept them. So I started accepting the kids. Shout out to Kamari Valentine. So here we go. Right. So I'm getting the request. I'm accepting the request. I'm kind of wondering, like, what these dudes want to do? Take my picture off here, make a meme with my face. Something. I don't know what they want to do. So I look up on the young man Kamari Valentine's story. I see he got a story. He's got my comments up there with bet on there. So when we hear bet means I'm going to show you.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I say, you know, I don't want to take it personal. As Nas would say, you know, charge it to my mind, not my heart. Right. This is just predictions. It's not nothing personal. So I go in the kid's DM and say, yo, listen, if I'm wrong, I tell it every week on Keep It a Buck. I apologize twice as hard for you.
All right.
Game time happens. Game time over. Game time over. As far as I'm concerned, DePaul, when I cut the whole thing off.
Did he hit you back?
Oh, we're going to get there. DePaul was up 36-14 when I cut it off. So I come back later. I said, let me check the kid's page. I'll see what he put up on the story after that. I can't get in. the
Blocked you out.
Little dude blocked me. Little dude blocked me. You ain't have to do that, Kamar. You ain't have to do that. You balled out. I watched you. I watched the boys. Like, y'all got some dogs on the team.
Right.
Y'all gonna win New York State, too.
Right.
You need to know that's bulletin board material in every locker room.
And if you feel any way, please charge it to my brain and not my heart.
Of course, everyone wants that Notre Dame job. Everyone wants to be on NBC in prime time every week of guaranteed games.
Even when you make decisions going into your high school or transferring from your high school, those are big decisions that will affect the rest of your life.
Welcome for another episode of Keep It a Buck. We got the whole crew in the house this week. You got Nas back off his hiatus, whatever he do every Sunday. You got Big Just Zone6ix in the house. The beautiful Tristal. We ready to get rocking, yo. So like this week we had the Battle of the Bridge.
Yeah.
It started to look a lot like it used to look a long time ago. I wasn't expecting that. Some interesting games. Everything was interesting. Maybe not on the north side of the George Washington Bridge. But, it's kind of rough for me because y'all know I'm still from New York.
Right.
No matter how long I live out here, I'm still from New York. So it's tough, man. But we're going to get into that after we get into this public school stuff. So we're going to let Nas kick it off.
Yeah. Big shout out to Central, Roland, Coach Mark over there. They got it, man. They got the big guy that's going to Monmouth, Ja. He's doing his thing. They won big over well-coached Cedar Grove team. Big shout out to Weekway. Bounce back win over Lincoln. Boat raced them. I think it was like 37-0. Shout out to them guys over there. West Orange over Irvington. Grand over his former school. You know everybody from Irvington up there. Farad Green, Terrell Wolf, Syracuse commit. But big shout out to Farad Green. He went off. You know what I'm saying? Number 6 running back. I don't have his numbers like that, but he did go crazy. And they got a 3-star up there, and David Moore. Solid group of guys, man.
So what's Irvington looking like nowadays?
Lord, on the rebuilding part, okay. You know. But Irvington still got some dogs, though. You know what I mean? So it's still dogs over there. Big shout out to Malcolm X Shabazz over Westside Big, 68-24.
68?
Yeah.
That's a lot of touchdowns.
I mean, still got
hold on. That remind me of what Weekway did to y'all. You know, that's kind of Weekway-ish shit.
Yeah,
Some Weekway vibes.
Y'all coming. We're not gonna start too early this season.
Last year. I mean.
Yeah, you know.
Okay.
But
shout out to the big Baz.
Shout out to the Bazzi Yazzie, rookie to this high school thing, man. He went off, had a touchdown. Shout out to Amari Gaines. Obviously, had a interception and a scoop and score.
Nice. That's a good stat line.
Yeah. Davion Porter, and he did it. Coach came over, man. Coach from Stanford showed up.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah. Bob Gregory was in the building.
Y'all went over there and paid them people to throw him the ball?
No, man.
Yo, we got the coach in the building, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Westside was trying to, get a little fight in, but Davion Porter, man, special kid, dog.
He went off at our classic.
He just.
I never saw the
He could have had 5, dog.
Yeah, he made it look easy.
Yeah, he's just that talented. Zayden McDonald, he had 2 touchdowns. Got the Stanford offer that night.
Okay, yeah, I did see that late night. In Cali, it probably was early.
Yeah, to them, but it
makes
was
sense because I'm like, man, that's a late offer.
Yeah, he got it that night, right after the game.
So he gave it to him live at the game. No, they
called
called.
them.
Okay,
called back to headquarters.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me interrupt a sec. How big is that from kids from the inner city, man, to get opportunities to Palo Alto? An education like Stanford. And I know you know the kid personally. Does that matter to a kid like him, or is it about Alabama?
That was big for him. That's what he wanted. He looked like the Northwestern. He's a Northwestern kind of kid, Ivy League, smart.
Marquette Dorsey, shout out.
Shout out Marquette Dorsey. They actually like brothers. They played together, family growing up. But to see him receive the
time out. See, that's what Keep It a Buck that can do that none of y'all can do. You see that quick lineage right there? When you really, really know the kids?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Nah, that's true. He wanted that. He's like, he was just, when I'm going to get to Stanford? I'm like, I don't know. It take time for them to pull a trigger like that. And it happened. But, hopefully, he got some big offers, so he got some choices to make. But Asad Reynolds and Zakir Best, the future of the program. They the heart and soul. Like, they are traditional linebackers. They just young, right? And we got some older guys waiting to come back. I just want to see how that's going to play out. Last but not least, it's a kid that's on the team. His name is Talib McClain. He's going to be somebody. He's just a little rough around the edges, but once we smooth him out, hit them with the sandpaper. Number 88. He looked like what's my man name from the Cowboys?
What position?
CeeDee Lamb.
CeeDee Lamb. Yeah. They call him CeeDee Lamb.
Okay.
Don't like him a little bit, but we'll see more for him later. East Starnes was over East Side big. That was shocking.
Oh, yeah.
East Side.
I know that was that.
Side.
Wow.
And then they had this. Shout out to East Stars because they come up with the themes and the this and then it's like they beat them, and I think everybody had East Side favorite to win, and they was like, just give me my money. It was crazy, but shout out to those guys, man. Hopefully East Side bounce back next week, and Montclair won big over Bloomfield. Montclair was big over Bloomfield.
Is Bullock there?
Bullock is there. See, man, he might be helping them get going. I know they had a little spill last week, but they bounced back this week. Okay. But last but not least, for the plugs that I have for me, is the Zone6ix Classic with PCTI over Eastside. And
shout out to Eastside. I was going to ask you to get into that because we didn't have you last week, and we know that you had a lot of games on the Zone6ix Classic for last week. So what you've been saying, because you called me and you broke down some records that was broken, some different things like that. I couldn't repeat that. So that's why I'm really glad you're here to kind of get into that, to kind of catch us up on how that all works.
So yeah, we had the Classic last week, and then we also hosted a game this past Friday with PCTI Eastside. I'll just get right into that one. Gabriel Miles, 2 touchdowns first half with his legs.
Yeah, no, he went 6 for 11 for 100 yards with his arm.
Yep. And then around, I believe,
6 carries, 56 yards.
Yep, 56 yards.
2 touch.
Rushing. That was good to see him, come back. PCTI is right in Wayne, which is 5 minutes away, but he's a Patterson kid.
Yeah, it's right by his house.
To see him, in his backyard to show out. So anytime any kids that's from the town that get to come back to Hinchcliffe Stadium to show out, it's always good to see him do that.
Come on, it was in Hinchcliffe. You gotta invite me over to one of them joints. I would have loved to see him, yo. We got
some big games, still at Hinchcliffe left this year. We got Montclair versus West Orange. That's always a rivalry game.
Yeah.
That always, a lot of fans come out to. Also, we have DePaul versus St. Peter's Prep, and of course,
when is that one?
That's the following Thursday, on October 17th. So both of those games are on Thursday nights. So we trying to create our own little Thursday night prime time games.
Okay.
So please call me, and the non-publics usually never play unless it's a makeup or something. They never play on Thursday night. So to get a non-public game on a Thursday night is pretty fun. And then, as I mentioned before, kids from Patterson coming back. You'll see Dez, you'll see Deshaun, Cardi, Yaya. They're all from the town. They get to come back home, and it is a home game this year for DePaul Catholic. So looking forward to seeing
Please
that.
call me for that.
Hold on real quick. Before you go further, can you talk about the running back from PCTI?
That's what I was about to ask. Is this kid Ian McDuffie?
Ian McDuffie is an athlete. He's not. He's not a running back.
Okay.
You got
5 carries for 109 yards.
Yeah,
and
but
2
you're
touchdowns.
you're gonna see him. I think he had 3 touchdowns against West Orange the week before in a close 28-21 win. And I think West Orange was ranked and PCTI wasn't ranked, but now of course PCTI is ranked. I believe this kid, and I'm saying it now. I'm gonna look direct. It's probably the only time I look directly in the camera. He's a P4 kid without a doubt. Great kid, great character for sure. The offers will come rolling in.
What year is he? I'm sorry.
He is 2027.
Oh.
Sophomore.
Oh.
Okay.
Sophomore
That's
kid.
6'3"?
So say it again for the camera.
Oh, what's his measurements?
Six,
you know
he's right now 6'3".
It translates.
Right, maybe
I'm gonna tell you right
maybe
now.
6'2", 190. But
Syracuse is about to offer him because they love
he's
an athlete like that.
Just put on the game film from the first 3 games in the season. Everyone like to see the first 3,
now.
but he's tomorrow. I'm calling it now. He's gonna have offers tomorrow. Like he's that kid, and I'll say here too because we have like the All-American game that we're gonna do, and most people just think it's seniors only. We have an underclassmen game where freshmen through juniors, current freshmen and juniors are going to be able to play against each other. That's a kid that I definitely want to have in a game because he's the future. I won't even say the future here. Right now, like him and Gabe is the face of that program at PCTI. This kid is the real deal. I think they're going to possibly roll through the rest of their schedule during the regular season. That they got through that game that was up in the air, which was that West Orange one.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
I'm glad Miles
they got Ridgewood, though, too, so do not sleep on their Ridgewood game. Ridgewood is a very good program this year as well. But speaking of classics, we do have the classic this week, too. We have
Ian McDuffie, holla at Just. We just sent you up, man. We just sent you up to the schools. You're probably going to be getting some follows soon.
Now, you said something last year. You used to always say about you didn't understand why they wasn't playing the kid Gabe Miles at the other school he was at.
Paramus Catholic. Yeah.
And then now
He said, put it all out there.
No, that's what this is, right?
Right.
Just keep it a buck.
And that's for the audience to, look into it. Like,
Right.
what school did he go to?
Right.
He was at Paramus
but a
Catholic.
lot of people forget, like this kid, like me being a youth coach, watching him over the years just dismantle people at his playing that position. And I remember he was like a little chubby kid. I wanted to see how he was going to transition over, and then seeing him now, the work that he put in, he deserved everything that he's getting.
Yeah,
Like,
his pops is
very
definitely
passionate. Put a lot of work in with him. Yeah,
absolutely. Up early, late nights. They put in that work. Even you do see. Some people see things on social media, but I know they're working when the cameras are off as well. So, and it's showing. Right, kids' confidence level out the roof right now, and it's good to see. A kid, that might have been in the shadows a little bit. He played with a lot of talent.
Oh God, yes.
But he was the heart and soul of that Silk City Elite team or Cardinals at the time. But
you see the goosebumps you get when you say that, right? Because we have you two here, right? Justin and the Patterson native, Nas, the whole face of the Newark Brick City program, and you and I, we talked about setting up, a game, right? And we talked about like the headlines of that game when it was, I think at one point you was talking about DePaul versus Joe's, right? And what I was bringing to you back then was like, that's when Lamar Best, Nate, Rozzy, all of them was over there. And then you had Dez, Sean, Cardi, all of them was over at Silk City, right? So we get to see things like that again. But it was, Gabe was that quarterback.
I literally had deja vu today, like maybe an hour before getting here. I was just at Silk City Elite game. You see all the, how it goes. All the high school kids come back to be on the sidelines. I think they got siblings that's a part of the program and team. So to see them and then see Gabe on Friday was
I'm gonna
pretty
hold you
cool.
accountable for this one. Then. is for you to get with rocking that Silk City program and get back to having Brick City versus Six City.
That was big. That was big.
Org versus Org. We
Yeah.
can't get out of that. You can't get me when you hot. Play me. I play you whenever.
I did hear though that if you guys playoffs of the scenario that you guys, there is still a chance this year that could actually happen.
But no, it's better when we in that atmosphere. So let's say certain levels won't make the playoffs or lose in a certain round. If you got Silk City versus Brick City, we always let's go do it at PCTI because we always some reason always got to come to Patterson.
I was gonna say,
we always got to come to Patterson.
Okay, so 1 year you can make it annual. 1 year go to Hinge Cliff,
so
1 year go to Week.
I'm hearing that. I'm hearing that game.
We can put it
Even
together.
when the kids come over to me, I had people texting me because everyone's seeing like, all right, everyone played like the big independent schools out the way, so everyone's just hitting me up this week like, Bergen DePaul, what's going on? Put that together. I'm like, it doesn't work that way. The schedule is the schedule. So I just want everyone to know we cannot put that game together. It's a game that is not going to happen at all. There's no situation.
Yeah.
This maybe if they decided to pull some
turkey bowl, happening.
It'll have to be Rocky and Creed behind the scenes, closed doors. A game that's never been heard before, but
who won that fight?
And Rocky and Creed won that fight, but it's not going to happen. Unfortunately, people just kept reaching out this week. That's something that is out of our control. It's between the conference and the divisions, and you got two brothers, going at each other. So you got some brothers that might want to be competitive against each other. Not saying that they don't want to be competitive, but you got some, that want to show the family love and be able to sit down at dinner like we was talking about.
We won the host.
Yeah, but
took it on that level.
Right,
I took it on this.
Yeah, so maybe
instead.
and based off the schedule, you probably won't see it next year either. So the new cycle, just for everyone to be clear, this is the first year of the new cycle. So 2026 is when that can become potential once there's a realignment again. So I just want everyone to know that they cannot play each other, unfortunately.
Got you. So last but not least, on the you got the public. Shout out to Millville. You was telling me something about.
Oh yeah, absolutely, Millville game. Millville. The kid Lodazair Brooks went off. He actually broke a record in the state last week.
Shout out to that kid, man. Alabama commit.
Yeah, he's gonna bring home.
You said the quarterback went bananas.
Yeah. Okay. So Millville played Mainland. They won 40-7.
And that's a big one. They lost to them last year.
Yeah. So they went and they showed out. Quarterback Robert O'Connor went 15 of 25 for 302 yards and 2 touchdowns. Lodazair Brooks went 8 receptions for 200 yards.
Wow.
And 2 touchdowns.
Then
made SportsCenter later that night. He made top plays on SportsCenter number 2 because he had this catch where he jumped over somebody and took it. And this is the second time I heard of him because in Zone 6 he did something like that. And shout out to Savage. What's James Jones called? Savage.
Savage Season.
Shout out to Savage Season. He had the video because I never got to see Lodazair Brooks get into his thing because unfortunately for him when they played up here, played Irvington or whomever, 707, it was kind of quiet. So I was sleeping. And he sent me this video, and the kid is freaky athletic.
Yeah, he's a freak.
But he's been doing. I want people to know he's been doing this since his freshman year. Turn on the tape versus Union, Battle of the Beach, right? They had Igmanson on Union, right?
Yeah.
This kid's he was number 17. He wears number 1 now. He wore 17 as a freshman. 2 touchdowns in his debut in a showcase game as a freshman. Yeah. That's the first time I ever seen this kid. I'm like, hold on, this must be wrong. No, this kid was a freshman, 2 touchdowns in his first high school.
Fran was on.
Hold on, just mentioning Davidson amongst that is enough to stamp.
If you're doing that as a freshman, that's what you was just saying. That's what leads to being a state record. If you have any state record in the state of New Jersey, you have to play 4 years of varsity football and contribute from the get-go. And that's what he's been doing since he's been here.
Definitely a real point.
And that's it for our public. But big shout out to baby girl, Jalea Richardson, Jelly. Doing a thing over there.
All right, Jelly.
Shout out to Jelly at Scotch Plains.
All right.
Okay.
So now we're going to get into that battle of the bridge or the games of the bridge. I don't even know we would call it battle of the bridge. It was real interesting, though, because before we get in now, I'm going to give some background on that. So battle of the bridge, basically New Jersey went over there and clean swept everyone. It was 9-1. A lot of people don't know that. The one, right? Everybody thought Jersey swept it. No. It was 9-1.
Jersey
One
swept.
loss.
Let's just start.
Jersey swept.
Big schools, the big school
Who
swept.
lost?
All right, tell us who
lost?
gave us the L.
Morris Catholic lost to St. Francis.
Okay, stop right there.
34-0.
When have we ever talked about Morris?
Oh
What?
no,
We can't do that.
Have
Hold on.
we ever?
Ray Oliver,
When we
Ray
talk
Oliver.
about
The baby's the baby. You just because the baby ugly, you can't say it's not yours.
we
You had the baby.
never talked about them.
We did.
Run it back, when?
Bubba used to be there.
When we talk about them when Bubba was there?
I think so.
No,
can't
we're
say it with
not.
a
Find
straight
it. Find it. Somebody
But
find it.
regardless to the fact-
it doesn't matter. It never
Regardless,
happened.
so watching about the
We swept
poll,
them.
y'all. Regardless to the fact they y'all's, they belong to Jersey.
What you mean? We don't even know.
And
we
they
don't
played
even
that
know
game.
Who they play?
St. Francis. They play St. Francis.
And
I think they're from Staten Island, St. Francis.
Okay.
Yeah.
So and they did in the Morris Catholic defense. Ray Oliver is a new coach there. He's building that program, putting it back together. He's known for winning. He won at East Orange campus. Remember they beat Clifton in that state championship at Rutgers. So now he's off there to.
So what conference are they in?
I don't know, but they.
Okay. So what conference are they in?
Probably the Ivy. They seem Ivy-like.
You don't know.
I don't know.
Do you know what conference are they in?
Non-public B, I can tell you that.
Who do they play?
I think for the most part, when we spoke about, because I think I put it out there, Jersey swept. When I say Jersey swept, as far as when it comes to Battle Bridge, it's usually advertised as, you know, the premier schools playing against New York's premier schools, right? So certain teams are not, it's not just like, oh, Morris Catholic is not in that conversation. Sometimes you only hear of Bosco, Bergen, Joe's, St. Peter's, and sometimes Del Barton's a part of that conversation when it comes to the battle yearly.
Can I ask you this, though?
Those are 5 games, but it was more than 5 games. Coach John played as well.
Was St. Peter's Prep a part of the Battle of the Bridge? Was that more? I meant to say more Catholic.
That's why I'm saying we got
more
it. We
more
got
Catholic should have probably played Morris Catholic.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact.
Right.
We know that. We know that.
No, definitely. I think that would have been a better matchup for Morris Catholic, and more Catholic it would have worked out. And then St. Francis and St. Peter's Prep could have played each other, but yeah.
How did St. Peter's do in the Battle of the Classic?
This year?
So St. Peter's played more Catholic.
It was a
It
blowout.
So St. Peter's Prep played more Catholic, and the score was 38-6. So but I want to go back and see. Did Morris Catholic play Battle of the Bridge last year?
Yo.
So
I want to know. Did they play last
No,
year?
they did.
It's
Okay.
But Ray Oliver wasn't there last year. So.
as a person.
Well, shout out to you, Ray
As a
Oliver.
person that runs
Welcome
showcases,
to Battle of the Bridge.
I'm never against anyone
If you
else.
go,
running-
you gotta win.
I'm never against anyone else running their own showcases and doing it, because people have been doing showcases way before Zone6ix came along. So I think the Battle of the Bridge, to make it easier, do the showcase. Maybe do 1 game on Friday, do 4 games on Saturday. Choose one venue, have them, line it up for the day. So then we know who is in
Sounds
actual
sound
Battle
like
of
you
the
need to
Bridge.
take that over.
I mean,
who's
we can have it at Rutgers, we can have it at
who's in the actual Battle of the Bridge showcase.
Okay.
We might still have New York versus New Jersey that week, right?
Okay.
Because then you can only play so many games,
In the day.
And then now next year, it goes technically next year, Jersey teams are the home team.
Yeah.
But
Can we get a Zone6ix New York?
Battle of the Bridge.
absolutely.
All right, there we go. New York versus New Jersey.
I was off on Saturday.
New Jersey they took the sweep. We don't know what Liddy talking about. He tried to find something deep because he from New York. Jersey, shout out to you. Y'all took the win.
It's crazy when I'm in Jersey. I'm from New York. When I'm in New York, they tell me I'm a Jersey dude. Like I can't win this. Right?
I mean, I was born
We'll
in
make
New York.
room for
I'm from
everyone.
Jersey,
Some
but
people
it's
might just have to
Jersey
play on
all day.
Sunday, but we can make room for everyone.
So Buster, here's the funny storyline about that, right? So this is where Keep It a Buck's gonna get fun. We got like Michael Bright, Mr. DePaul, right?
Right.
So he goes on the Keep It a Buck page, and he goes, we're bigging up DePaul for what they just did against Good Counsel. He's like, and we got another national game coming up. I'm like, Pop, stop. Cardinal Hayes ain't that, So I make the comment. I say, saw Cardinal Hayes, ain't nothing national about him. Didn't say it wasn't good. Said wasn't nothing national about him, right? When we talk about national, that's the top 200 maybe, right? So you know what that looks like when you see the top 200 teams in the league. Like we've seen teams here that's nationally ranked. And ain't nothing national about them.
Right.
I've seen kids here that's nationally ranked, star decorated, and ain't nothing starred national about them. Right? It's just there's a narrative and people buy onto it. Doesn't mean the kids aren't good.
True.
Doesn't mean the programs aren't good. So, he doubled down and, he went on to say, oh, you might have saw them one time up at Joe's and we had a bad time at Malvern Prep. Listen, I don't know what you had. I don't know what they had, but I know what I saw. So after that, I start getting requests from people from Cardinal Hayes. I'm a private guy. I live a private life.
Yeah.
So I go. I'm with the OG. Keith Miles, and I'm like, yo, Keith, these kids is requesting me, like my family. And he said, well, clear your family off and accept them. Just come with the territory. You're gonna make a prediction. You gotta stand on that.
Right.
You gotta accept them. So I started accepting the kids. Shout out to Kamari Valentine. Shout out to the Beeline. There's two twins. Now Kamari and them two twins, they all ballers.
Right.
I messed that up kind of because I was making it seem like it's only the quarterback, Rich Beeline.
Rich.
But it's the 2D linemen. It's this dude.
His brother.
They showed out. They was balling. Shout out to you. They was balling, right?
Blake.
So,
Blake Williams.
Yeah. Blake. Yes.
They come from a great family. Shout out to their pops, man. OG Balin, like great dude, man. He got them boys rolling. I mean,
Yo, no, man.
his older brother, their family of success.
I saw the way I said maybe I misread this, but the dudes, all of y'all is ballers. Kamari,
do know that they Brick City too.
Yeah.
I know that. I know that.
I just want the world to know that.
So here we go, right? So I'm getting the request. I'm accepting the request. I'm kind of wondering, like, what these dudes want to do? Take my picture off here, make a meme with my face, something. I don't know what they want to do. So I look up on the young man Kamari Valentine's a story. I see he got a story. He's got my comments up there with bet on there. So when we hear bet means I'm going to show you.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I say, I don't want to take it personal. As Nas would say, charge it to my mind, not my heart. Right. This is just predictions. It's not nothing personal. So I go on the kid's DM and say, yo, listen, if I'm wrong, I tell it every week on Keep It a Buck. I'll apologize twice as hard for you.
Right.
Game time happens. Game time over. Game time over. As far as I'm concerned, DePaul, when I cut the whole thing off.
Did he hit you back?
Oh, we're going to get there. DePaul was up 36-14 when I cut it off. I don't know what it ended, but that's when DePaul pulled their starters. I go about my business. I come back later. I said, let me check the kid's page. I'll see what he put up on the story after that. I can't get in. Little dude blocked me. Little dude blocked me. You ain't have to do that, Kamar. You ain't have to do that. You balled out. I watched you. I watched the boys. Like, y'all got some dogs on the team. Right. Y'all gonna win New York State too.
Right.
Y'all gonna play Iona Prep from what I see. Or maybe, I don't know if Christ the King and what they look working with right now. But y'all gonna play Iona Prep and y'all gonna beat them. If y'all don't get any injuries. Your linebacker number 9 was a dog coming downhill. The whole D line balling out. And this is against DePaul. Mm-hmm. Gave him fits in the first half. So totally respect y'all. Wasn't saying y'all was bum juice, but I was definitely saying that y'all wasn't a national team.
I mean, you had Nolan with 9 carries for what, Tristan?
143 yards. He had 2 receiving touchdowns and rushing touchdowns and 1 receiving.
What we talking about, Nolan? Let's get
James.
into what they didn't give him credit for, right? Because Nolan had a few big runs that got called back. Ill runs. Mm-hmm. So if he had, let's go to DePaul. Where we at? DePaul. If he had, you said, okay, James, 9 carries, 133, 1 touchdown. Mm-hmm. You can actually probably add another 70 on to that from what they call back, at least. So he was really balling. Derek Zammit, he bailed them out. He bailed them out because them boys down there on the concourse was giving them all they can want. And it was in man-to-man. And he started hurting them with his legs. They didn't have a spy there. He hurt him with his legs.
He's that dude. He's for real.
Is he the best quarterback in state?
I don't know. I won't say that because you can see I just you got Bobby O'Connor going through the game. You got Lamar. You got
Campanelli. You got to give him credit right now.
I need him to step it up.
All right.
I need him to step it up. Right now it's looking like senioritis, but we'll get to that. You know what I'm saying? But there's
gotta give him credit for what he's done so far.
Is Caden Davis in that race with the
Nah, he's still young right now. He's still young, but you can see he's got it written on him. You know what I'm saying? I think for Caden to actually really arrive, it's not even going to be so much about Caden as it is what's around him. Mm-hmm. Because what I got to see when he played in the game against Joe's is like when he had when they brought Joe's brought in the subs, which was more comparable to the tools he had around him. Mm-hmm. He looked like what he could look like. You get what I'm saying?
Zaman has the tools
Yes, sir.
around him from
From
backfield
line to backfield, the receivers, yes.
They're
going
set up.
across.
So Tristan, who did Seton Hall prep play?
See?
My bad.
We might as well get into the poll. So the final score. Go ahead, Tristan.
So the final score was 36-20. I feel like in the first half.
That was the final score of Cardinal Hayes in the football game?
Yeah. The first half,
was
let's
really
start off that.
36-14.
Cardinal Hayes, let's give them a little bit of their
I did.
credit, right?
You don't think I did that?
No. So it was 8-0, right? Most of the way. By halftime it was 15-14.
Okay.
Right? So it's still a game. And I don't know what happened in the second half.
I think they went in there, Coach
Campanelli.
Nicky Camp. You made a few adjustments. All right, let's get our heads out the cloud. And it's pound town. It's pound town time. They came out, Nolan.
Because what we said at the beginning of the year, this is a what for them? A must-win season. and that's the speech that they probably got at the end of the day, especially coming off of the win. So you talking about, the itis in a sense. You do not want to, take any of these opponents light. You don't want to take an opponent light going into another state or territory, even though it's at Columbia, which is supposed to be neutral siting. But you never know where those officials are from. So, like you said, the plays was getting called back for Nolan. You can't take those games for granted at all.
How did Marquette Dorsey do on defense?
He was solid. Nothing. Forte gave up 14 points, so that tells you. And that 14 points was early. Right. Like she said. Cardinal Hayes came out and jumped right on him, bro. Yeah. Like, we here for something. You know what I'm saying? They was hitting, they came to play. But then you started to see, like, the depth of the game, right? The war of attrition kicks in, right? Then the adjustments. And then that's what I say. Like, when you start talking about nationals, we talked about that before. It's like, that's about not your first 11 or your first 22. It's your next 42, right? Yeah. That's where that starts to separate you from everywhere else. When I can bring a guy in off my bench that's probably just as good or better than your starter, that's national level of competition. Right. So I just like to be clear when I said that. Wasn't, discrediting the team. I was just speaking from a national standpoint. They wasn't that, you know what I'm saying? We don't really know who is that right now. Right. Because there's a lot of unanswered questions, right? Yeah.
And the national rankings is just, this year has been the crazy. I want everyone to know, the national rankings, anyone is beating anyone that they throw in the top 25. Not saying that there's not credible teams in there, but you see, some games.
Good Council took a L this week, right?
Well, Good Council's 1 and 2. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes
they're a national team.
You can become national based on your history and your pedigree. Like, we've seen it done with Bosco. Like, when the toll thing was coming to an end, they'd still be up there. Shit, they still be up there now. Sometimes, right? Yeah. They just like your name, right? You know what I'm saying? But then you got to bring your game. Keep it above.
Okay. All right. So moving right along, let's go Bosco versus St. Anthony's. So that ended at 49-10.
Let's go Bosco. Still out there clapping.
So
go ahead.
I think they earned that 4th spot where most people have them at. I think.
Nah, I'm not quite convinced.
You're not convinced?
St. Anthony's look like a JV team. I told Nas your freshman team would beat them, man. You had to see their skill, guys. Like, stop, man. We're not. So this is keeping the buck.
Is Don Bosco a top 5 team in the state of New Jersey?
I don't know who is yet. Because it's still early. But I'm going to tell you. That's not what Red Bank Catholic and St. Anthony's is not what I'm about to give it up for. It's not what I'm about to give it up for.
They got some big games coming up.
Yeah, coming up. But we're on the next one, right? Because they're on the bye week next week. But we'll talk about that coming up. And then it's Bergen. So that
Bergen better wake up, bro, because y'all was sleeping last week, bro.
That's what we're going to go right on next. I do want to shout out Zakai Murphy. I know y'all talked about him last week briefly, but he had 5 catches with a touchdown and 53 yards.
He's definitely going to be a big-time receiver.
Absolutely. Up and coming Zakai Murphy. Shout out to you. Welcome to the party. I feel like we could welcome him to the party.
Absolutely.
Welcome to the party, Zakai.
Devin Sisler went 11 of 14 for 201 yards, 3 touchdowns. It seemed like all of the quarterbacks in that battle of the bridge showed out this week, right? Dante DeLuca, the running back for Bosco, he started as a sophomore last year. Cut his teeth. Tough kid. He ran 11 carries for 119 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Well, Makai Allen.
I was about to say Makai Allen. I can't wait to see him in that Bergen game.
Yes,
That's
gonna show a lot.
Yeah,
that's gonna show a lot. At that point, I guess we could see
But he's really him.
if Bosco.
No,
we understand Makai Allen is definitely him, but
he's proven that last year. He doesn't have to prove anything anymore. Well, you still have to maintain.
But Bosco,
I want him to become. I want him to become that dog. Like I want him to become that guy for them, the face of that.
Well, how do you do that as a safety? You get what I'm saying?
I mean, I'm not the coaches. They have to utilize him. That kid is a freak athlete, right? I mean,
to my understanding, they asked him to play running back, and a lot like Jabril. Jabril never wanted to play running back. He was smart for that. Smartest decision Jabril ever made. And see, Makai Allen he's content being where he is on his side of the ball.
I would like to see him.
He's kick returning, and he runs those back.
Yeah, he's been doing that since his freshman year. He's been, when you got gadgets or guys like that, find a way to get them on the field, right? So even if they create a little package for them on offense, because at the end of the day, when they get to that game, they're off this week, and you put in some new packages in your bye week. This is a perfect week for them to have a bye week before going into Bergen, right? You need your best guys, and when I played for Coach Toe, your best guys don't just play offensive defense; they play special teams as well.
I'm out this week.
They get the bye week this week, but then Stretch comes back,
and he sold a ticket already.
No,
so
absolutely.
I'm sure they got.
So my thing is, at the end of the day, you pull out all the stops. You might win this. You might pull out an onside kick for all I know. Right?
Stretch come back. Bergen week.
That's what I'm about to say.
Everyone's gonna be back. Everyone's back.
Everyone's back.
Shout out to everybody.
Right. Everybody's back, but to come back on Bergen week.
And that's big because a lot of kids that don't play in a parochial school league don't know what those games is like when you get
throw the records out,
Bergen,
adrenaline,
Joe's, Bosco, Joe's, Bergen, anybody right in the league. A lot of those kids don't know what that's about. Like, so Stretch is coming out first game into that environment. He hasn't played. You haven't seen anything like that at your prior school. And I'm not saying that to say it's going to affect you in any way. But what I'm saying is you're gonna really, really love and be passionate about the game you win because it's gonna be on.
It's the best game in the country every single year when it's Bosco versus Bergen. Throw the records out the window as we've seen in the past, couple of years. But the game's at Bergen, and I'm looking forward. I like you said, St. Anne's, Red Bank, right? Let's see, where Bosco is at once they play, Bergen Catholic and Bergen Catholic. That'll be their first home game of the season.
Yo, that's crazy because look, I'm thinking about the kids coming back. This is Ian Adrian first week playing back. He had to sit too.
Okay.
So
this gonna be his first week playing also.
Back,
and who do you guys play?
They play Hoboken, but the following week is Immaculata.
Okay.
And we get
all of be back on them.
Jalen Collins, everybody back. So I
that's
didn't even
amazing.
think about that. That's crazy.
So as we're talking about Bergen, let's move right along to Bergen Catholic and Iona Prep. The score was 31-10. But I know I was at the Joe's game when I came in.
I was following Twitter. It was tight. It was tight at first.
14 right before, and then it went. They kicked the field goal, and that's 10-17 at halftime.
17-10.
17-10. Right. So with Iona, with Bergen with 17.
Yeah.
Right. So what was happening?
So I don't know. I refuse to believe, and this is what I talked to us about in the chat about being prisoners of the moment. Like even the way I jumped on, and I was right in regards to Joe's tackling. Like that's not a prisoner of the moment. That's a flaw, right? That's something they had to work on. I'm looking at Bergen, and I said, all right, Len, you're not going to be a prisoner of the moment right now because this team right here looks very, very beatable. Like not very beatable, very, very beatable. And as I watched, and I said, you know what it could be? They just came off, and it could have been the same thing for Joe's. I made it all pop. You just came off playing 2 national games, right? One you lost, one you won in dramatic fashion, and then you go on to play Iona Prep, a team you boat raced last year. You went up there to watch the game scrimmage with them and Joe's and watch Joe's just cut through them like a hot knife through butter. You might feel like you're better than Joe's like that. 17 and 16 and 15-year-old kids will be 17, 16, 15. No matter what the coaches try to do, it's hard to tell them that you're going to have to bring it to them. So I don't know if that's who Bergen is. I'm going to go on no for right now, but I'm watching you. I'm watching you close. But it wasn't impressive at all. It wasn't impressive at all. Quincy Porter did the usual, the 75-yard catch, the big play that give him some room. You know what I'm saying? That helps loosen everything up. you know, the run game was solid. Shout out to Dante Kane, 7 carries, 67 yards.
Okay, Dante, you back.
Okay.
But I'm gonna tell you, like, you see my tone. I'm talking like it's kind of sad. Like, I'm very, very uninspired. Left a lot.
So what do you think happens in the locker room at halftime with the Campanellis?
I know. I can tell you that. I can tell you that.
I'm seeing a trend. I don't know, but we just said the same thing.
Get right. Get left.
I played for Anthony Campanelli, and
so tell us what's the locker room right at halftime?
I'm pretty sure this past weekend in both locker rooms over at DePaul and over at Bergen was wake the hell up, and that's me saying it in a polite way, right? Mm-hmm. So, and if anyone doesn't know, they all come. That's legendary.
Legend.
Like, for sure, they just like me. They're born on the football field,
right.
But the expectations are through the roof. Even whatever expectation we might have for them, the expectations that they have for themselves, and that's for their program, because the amount of time and work that they put in. Mm-hmm. You know, I can tell you now, the Campanelli family as a whole, the work ethic, the preparation that they put in, and how they lock in, right, is second to none. Mm-hmm. When I played for Anthony Campanelli, this guy, probably in life, one of the most hardworking dudes I ever met, and that's why every single college was waiting for him to leave our program, to leave Bosco, because they knew what he was doing. Went to college, and now he's coaching for the Green Bay Packers.
Right.
So. I could tell you now where they had to have them words with them kids, as coaches do at the high school level, and you gotta wake up, and we gonna make sure that when we come out to, now I'm not just gonna rely on 15, 16, 17-year-old kids just for me to wait to see they wake up. We're gonna do what we gotta do to get out here with the win. We're going to give the ball to our dogs. If we gotta rely on the run game or rely on a person or two to carry us up out of this thing and figure it out the next week, that's what we're gonna do. Mm-hmm. And I think at the end of the day, the linemen leaned against Iona Prep.
Shout out to Iona Prep, though. Iona Prep has a lineman that's going to Clemson.
Yep.
He is Southern saying. He's nasty as a rattlesnake, bro. He's big as hell, and he's physical. I mean, physical. Like, he's not trying to just block you. He's trying to use your head and put it through the turf. You remember? That's the kid that went after Jameer. Right. Mm-hmm. Clemson getting a good one, bro. Yeah. They getting a good one. They got some size. Iona Prep all across the board is a pretty big team. They got some size. But this one kid, he'd be the guy in this state too. Okay. And it's very rare that I say that, or translate. He's a national guy. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But everyone has that sleepy game in a sense. Yeah. Right? You see it at all levels. It could be the NFL, right? Ravens and Raiders. Who thought that would be close today? Or you look at Georgia and Kentucky could be a 1-1, and you only win by, I believe they only won by a point, if I'm not mistaken.
Georgia pulled that out?
Georgia pulled out. He was down at most during the first half, but everyone has those type of games, and I think those games is what, brings that locker room camaraderie together, right? We can't take it for granted. Take it week by week, but each game you gotta, just like you prep for the big game that everyone's counting you out on, the games that they count you to win, you gotta prep just like that.
Absolutely. I asked you that to say 4 quarters of football, right? No matter all the other teams, whatever your score is, when you go into the locker room at halftime, you gotta come back out, because this shows right here, they're losing or barely winning at halftime, and they come back, and
so
it's over for you.
I do expect Bergen to be locked in this week. Them and Pope John coming off of
Bergen.
We're gonna get there.
Yeah,
we're gonna come back around. So real quick, we'll go to Pope John. Since you said Pope John played Kellenberg. 48-14 was the score.
Let's go, Pope. First one of the
Your boy went crazy. Oh. Your boy Tyleek Hill.
Tyleek Hill's
he had 3 touchdowns, minimum 50 yards per touchdown. Just on those 3 touchdowns, he had over 165. I don't know what he had in the game, but just on those 3 touchdowns,
he's the most
165 yards.
Underrated football player in our state. These schools better wake up. That's a dog. I don't care about size, none of that. That kid is a football player.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. So,
and with that being said, hold on. With that being said,
I was getting there. Let me
finish. Know where I'm going.
I know where you're going. We be here.
Okay.
So before I go on to the next one, I wanted to say Shout out to Jackson State for being the first one. We talked about it last week. Well, when I was here last week, right? For being we needed colleges to be the first to step out there. So Nate Bailey got his first offer, and that was from Jackson State. He then went and got Marshall.
Jacksonville.
Sorry, I'm sorry. And then he went and got Marshall. So that's 2. Shout out to Marshall.
Shout out to Coach Baker.
Yeah.
There you go.
I heard he's a Patterson guy.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. A head coach?
Oh, yes.
I gotta, I like to say I know all of the Jersey guys. Yeah, he's a head coach.
No. He's the assistant.
Oh.
He's the assistant defense coordinator and defensive back coach.
Right.
Okay, I didn't know him. I always like to know the
He's a
Jersey
good guy.
guys that's around the state.
But big congratulations, Nate, on that. And then shout out to Lamar Best. He picked up something.
Yes, Lamar Best also got Marshall, also, which is his first.
What
So
I
welcome
wanted
to the
say-
big.
Go ahead.
Welcome to the Big North. You come up. Not saying that it's just different,
No,
right?
you
You
can
come
get-
up there. He been down in Willingboro doing his thing. Can't deny that.
That's Willingboro. They might can't sell that kid. I don't know why.
That's what I'm trying to say is you come up here and is there word of they see it if the talent is there, right? A word of an Augie Hoffman.
North Jersey, not just Big North.
Okay, North Jersey. All right, Saint Shabazz.
Shabazz.
You're a part of the Big North.
That could be a T-shirt.
That's a fact. You know what I'm saying?
No, shout out to North
Right.
Jersey football, right? You come up here, you do your numbers, and the words of these coaches, right? It means something, and that's just that. So
what I did want to touch on when we talked about who's the kid we were just talking about?
Tyleek Hill.
Tyleek Hill, right? Whether you have the Nates, the Lamars, the Tyleek Hills, it's a bunch of these kids all throughout the state, period. The Josiah Zayas down at St. Thomas Aquinas. It's a lot of these kids. I saw some things on Twitter that was reminiscent of the conversations we were having. Temple's it's a dumpster fire, right? And you're going, I don't know where you're going to get those kids. But when you were winning, your recipe was Jersey. It was the tri-state area.
The
New York,
tough
New Jersey,
kids.
Connecticut. Then it was Philly, Northern Virginia, D.C. That's where Temple was upsetting teams and things like that. Then you bring these guys in. I don't know where they're from. I don't know them, so they don't know this part of the state. And it's like, you're at the bottom. I saw a Donald Massey comment on one of our posts, and he was saying, well, maybe they, feel like they're doing good with their kids. You can't be doing good. You can't be doing good because it's bad. It's bad for you, UMass. It's bad for Temple. Maybe, just maybe, y'all should try something different. Maybe you should come up here, get kids that already know how to function in your system, meaning they're already college prepped. They know what it is to get up early, to work hard, to be self-starters, to lift. But most of them are winners too, whether they come from Silk City, Brick City, Bergen Stars. These programs go basically around the country and just beat people down.
Yeah,
so these are kids that don't really know how to lose. Like, I remember the great George Steinbrenner. They were saying how he acts a fool whenever the Yankees lose and all of that. He needs to be, he's a sore loser. And he said, yeah, maybe I am a sore loser. He said to get used to be okay with losing takes practice. And if you can't tell, we ain't been practicing, right?
I like that.
So these kids ain't been practicing losing, So I'm just gonna say, man, don't let your pride hurt, right? Don't take it to your pride, Just come back here, pull back the curtain, and you'll see UMass. There's more Teray Powells. There's more, Kenya Massey's.
Right.
If you go on down to Temple, there's more Hassan Riddicks.
Tahir Whitehead.
These guys are here. UConn, like you guys got to stop playing because y'all not like that.
PJ Walkers, man.
You know what I'm saying? Exactly. Like them two Elizabeth boys. PJ Walker and the running back. Like, come on, what are we doing? You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Kareem Ali for leading the charge on that conversation. Because if y'all don't get right, I got a feeling that Elijah Robinson will be coming down there to get it right for you.
Okay. Yeah. So St. Joe's versus Stepinac, that was 43-0.
At halftime.
At halftime, and then it closed out 43-0. So all the receivers scored on that. Do you have a Lamar?
Yeah, I have that. I have stats.
Was this, correct me if I'm wrong, this is a young Stepinac team this year compared maybe to the past?
Yeah, it's a rebuilding.
It's a rebuild. I didn't get to see the game, but
I won't get it off for the young thing because the reality of it is they played another young team as well. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody really going nowhere from Joel's or like I saw that statement made with like one of the. I'm not gonna mention where the guy was from, but there's another team in this league, and he was like, "We're getting better. We got a young cast. Like, did you look around? Like, everybody's pretty young or got goons waiting in the shadows. That's probably better than the guys that's playing. Like when you look over at Bergen, you see what the freshmen they got sitting there in varsity waiting for their turn. It's not gonna get better. It's not gonna get better for you if you're down, right? So you got to go do some wholesale, substitutions or whatever. But with the Joes game, let's get to that. Lamar Best, 10 of 14, 227 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 rushing. Nate Bailey, 4 receptions, 68 yards, 2 touchdowns. Mekhi Rosenthal, 3 receptions, 90 yards, 1 touchdown. A lot like Nolan, right? A lot like Nolan. I feel bad for the kid. Sorry for your son, though. I'll be watching the game. So, like, whether it's Seton Hall Prep, he finished with a good stat line. This week, he finished with a good stat line. But he be having, like, 60-yard passes getting called back. So, I feel bad for Lamar. Because that's the difference in Lamar. So he's 10 of 14. So now we could say he's 11 of 14, right? Mm-hmm. And that 11 of 14 would be for 300 and something yards. Mm-hmm. And they called back like 4 or 5 touchdowns, right? Wow. Every big play was getting called back. Now, I don't know if that's the St. Joe's problem in the discipline aspect of things, because that's disgusting if it is, or if that was home cooking. But I would advise the staff to look at the film and figure something out, because Paramus Catholic has had 2 weeks to prepare. And they're coming to town. Okay. I promise you, they're coming to town. The tackling looked a little better, just a little. Tackling looked a little better, but y'all gotta get right for what's on the way.
So where's where we're gonna go? So Seton Hall, Chaminade was 10-3. We're gonna kind of, because we want to get into next week. I want to get there. Del Barton versus Monsignor, 28-0. That was great. So now let's get into next week. I'm sorry.
We gonna leave St. Peter's out?
We did. We talked about St. Peter's.
St. Peter's.
You didn't get no stats?
No, all right, come on. Get your stats real quick so we go next week. I'm sorry.
Toya gonna call my phone first thing in the morning to tell me I got it wrong. I ain't pronouncing kids' names right, so I gotta give St. Peter's.
Okay, go ahead.
St. Peter's Prep won 38-6. They're now 2-1. Better than the 1-9. They already on something. Tyler Bell, beautiful day. 13 of 17, 318 yards, 4 touchdowns.
Okay.
Hunter Watson, 7 receptions, 144 yards, 1 touchdown. That's Hunter Watson.
Yeah.
That's Hunter Watson. That's Hunter Watson. Tyler Clark, 2 receptions, 81 yards,
He's a dog.
1 touchdown.
He's a dog.
Catch of the year so far.
Oh yeah, that catch was amazing. I will say that catch was.
You see how you naming their receiving core? Mm-hmm. That's what I'm talking about.
I could have done that.
I was going to say, hold on now.
I'm trying to.
We was trying to move along, but if we want to go there, we're gonna go there now because we're gonna go there because now we have to go there because I wasn't here last week and you said that. And no, nothing against St. Peter's and Hunter doing his thing. I love him. He's a Brick City kid. I watch him grow up. But that's 2, right? Joe's has JoJo.
Give it to me.
So Javon Williams, Nate Bailey, Mekhi Rosenthal. They got Stalin Nolan. They got Brady. What's his last name? Shoes. Right? And then they got a whole bunch of young boys that, like he said, go wherever else and they might be playing.
Well, you're seeing that. There's a kid from Paramus, speaking of Joe's, right? Mm-hmm. There's a kid from Paramus that when they come into town this week, this kid has carved a real notch out for himself at PC. He's their kick returner. He's running the back. His name is Chris. It'll come to me last name. But he's running stuff back. He's catching bombs. And he couldn't get much tick at Joe's. And he went over to Paramus. And Paramus is really, really showing his skill set.
So this is 4, 5, 6, right? Okay, boom. Now you go to DePaul.
Chris Ventura.
You go to DePaul. And you got Dez, Elijah, AJ, and there's the other kid. I'm sorry, you might know his name. He's a beast. I just don't know his name. I'm sorry. So that's 3. That's 4.
Rara.
Yes, Rara. Right. That's 4 kids. So now you're talking 2 against 4. Like we're talking about wide receiver core, and I get the numbers.
He got a little more. He's going.
That's why I'm
okay, go ahead.
So when you say yours, you say like Rosenthal, Nate Bailey, right? I know JoJo the name. I know he's good.
Oh, the stats is there too.
Okay, all right. So
he's got stats because you got to go by there. If you want to use the resume, you got to use the resume.
Perfect. All right, JoJo, Nate Bailey, and Mekhi Rosenthal. Mm-hmm. Who else is starting?
Who else is starting?
Stalin. Hand there, right?
No. No. He's about to go after Hunter.
I like Stalin.
The people you about to go to after Hunter, it's here and there.
They real.
Stats.
They real.
But if we do the numbers,
Stalin is another person that he Stalling scored last week.
He's a big city kid.
I love you, Stalling.
And he had a kick return this week, and he
Stalling
got called back.
Dude, keyword called back. So here's what I'm saying.
But either way,
don't count.
Come on,
right? You talking about? All right, so look.
All right. But he scored last week.
So shout out to DePaul is another team that have a great receiving core.
Right.
Right, of guys that does their thing. But when I watch St. Peter's Prep, when I watch them, you see all of their receivers involved in every game that they play.
Against who?
We'll see. I mean, they got to still get into the big.
All right,
that's the argument.
I want to see.
So you can't make that statement just yet.
I'm looking forward to.
I think
St. Peter's versus
great.
Del Barton. That would be a great look. You know,
who's the DBs on Del Barton?
No, I'm saying good look as far as programs. At the end of the day, Del Barton is a tough team. Can St. Peter's Prep beat Del Barton team that's top 10 in every single poll in the state of New Jersey? Can they do that? Because St. Peter's is not in the top 10 in the state of New Jersey. Right, I know one website got them at 11. I think 11 is probably their highest rank. But I think at the end of the day, when they played more Catholic compared to playing Del Barton, it's gonna be a big difference, right? And then you got the receive. You guys going back and forth to the receiving course, right? I think at the end of the day, each room has something that the other doesn't have, right? You look at DePaul's. I think their upper hand, in a sense, is that they have two guys that are seniors, right? We talking about now these other receiver cores, right? Got a junior, maybe one senior, right? A sophomore, junior. They got two seniors. You talking about Ohio State, Notre Dame as seniors. So for me to drop that, to put them under anyone else, to be like, okay, yeah, they got this one senior, this junior. That's very hard for me to drop DePaul.
I agree.
That's why I say receiver card like the best.
Because we talk about everybody's, a lot of teams are young or not. And we say you talk about vets. DePaul's team, that's a veteran squad. That's a team that's been playing, since their sophomore year. They're all seniors. That's why we call it the must-win season. That is, they don't get a pass. They don't get a young pass. Yeah. At all. They don't. Derek Zaman is not young. Right. He's been playing since freshman year of his, second half of his freshman year. Mm-hmm. DePaul is not a young team, right? You might still call Joe's a young team, right? You might call some of these other teams in some areas, but in no areas, I can tell you right now, DePaul is not a young team. They don't get the young pass at all. So as far as I love, you got JoJo, Makai. They are vets. Right, you got Nate. Right,
He's been starting on varsity since 9th grade.
That's what I'm saying. Right, that's a very tough comparison to do right now. But
that's in the air. But what he's saying is like these guys could be. Their time is coming. They might be this year, right? But we have to let it play out because back to what I sent the text about earlier. Prisoners of the moment, right? Until you go and show up against Bergen, those guys did it. Those guys did it for 300 and something yards last year. Dez and those guys have been there. They've played Bergen. They've upset them. They've beat them, right? Until you go do that against them and then come around to, the Joes and then the Bosco, you got to make your trip around the league, right? And then once you do that, you could say, okay, now it's us.
Yeah.
Being that
right?
all right, so
that's
you guys put me in my place, right? So
I'm not trying to
do that. It's not that. It was just like, don't forget. Because sometimes we could just,
because I'm saying, like,
it's nice, it's hot, and I want them to do well. But you can't take away from Dez and Elijah and what they've done already.
Because you got to think about it. Makai and Dez are probably in that receiver room. Makai at Joe's. Mm-hmm. My brother was a senior with him. Mm-hmm. He played 4 years. As far as when I say 4 years, not special. He's out there. Mm-hmm. He's contributing 4 years. Dez as well, right? Mm-hmm. Elijah came onto the scene more so his sophomore year. Mm-hmm. Dez was a contributing freshman. So like, right there. That's why I always say like those rooms.
We watch those guys do it against guys like Dez. His freshman year, Dez came out and like we talked about Lotus here. Dez was part of your scouting report.
Right.
Right? Until you're part of the scouting All right.
And then the wind's been back and forth with Paul and
Shout out
Jones.
to everybody. Like we don't want to say we don't want the kids.
But here's
We're not
the
pressing
thing.
the
You
kids.
gotta be good. You gotta be good to
Peter's-
have this argument.
St.
You gotta be good. So shout out to
Right,
everybody.
shout out to everybody.
But St. Peter's
Shout out to
Prep-
Jersey for having the best wide receiver core. How about that?
St. Peter's Prep has the unknown receiver.
Okay, the up and
That's
coming.
what it is. It's the unknown. That everybody got the high names on their things. But if they're the underrated group that plays together they scoring points. They dropping 40 a game. I don't care who they not playing. Wait till when they play.
Okay, they played
They play Del Barton. They can make it known this week.
Hold on.
St. Peter's can make it known
I
this
can't let
week.
it rock on that.
St. Peter's
I
can make
can't
it
let it rock
known.
on that. We came on this show, and Union City looked like world beaters because they fucked y'all around. Excuse my language, because they messed Shabazz around. Then they went out there against St. Peter's and looked like doormats. Things change when you see real programs. Things change.
No.
So we can look
that
at
was
Union
like
City.
a 10-play scrimmage.
It don't matter what it was. See, now you want to do that. Now you want to do that. Because a second ago it didn't matter, right? See, that's my point. You know?
Let's go to the next.
I think
On
the
that.
schedule is competitive enough to we're gonna hit a point in the
We're gonna
season
find out.
where at the end of the day
All of that.
real recognizes real,
all the time.
and that's going to happen
what it
whether
is.
it's week 5, whether it's week 6. Everyone's gonna have a chance to become the known at some point.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. We see it now.
Yeah.
We built something for this
Right,
thing.
absolutely. So we
But
love
that's
it.
around
And
the
then
five out.
sometimes, right, and sometimes with the numbers, the thing is different. When you got 4 guys that you're giving numbers to, and you got 2 guys, the numbers are going to look different. Your numbers are going to be.
spreading it out
That's what I'm
for.
saying.
That's
I'm
what
just
I'm
saying.
saying.
So here we go. St. Peter's Prep versus Del Barton. Who you got?
I got
Tell-
St. Peter's Prep.
Okay, Nas got Prep. How about you?
Hey man, I got prep. I got prep.
How about you?
Del Barton beat.
Tyler Bell hot
What's
right
the
now.
record? Del Barton
Bell.
is one.
Tyler Bell is hot, and his confidence is building. And Del Barton, after giving up 27 unanswered 2 weeks ago to Malvern Prep, they were up 17-0 going into the fourth quarter.
Okay, so but
And
let's put that
They said
in context.
Malvern Prep is a very good program.
Yeah, because
don't
they
get
get
it
the
wrong.
ball.
They
Or
get
they can hit.
yeah, it was basically
That was
even
last
in the
year, though.
scrimmage.
No, that's this year.
No, this year in the
This
scrim
year.
in the game scrimmage, it basically was 14-14 in a game scrimmage. But you gotta, like you said earlier, you gotta play 48 minutes of football, right? I think it's gonna be a high scoring game. It's gonna be 30s, 40s. Like it's gonna be a high scoring game for sure. But I just want to see, Del Barton just gonna have to prove me wrong. But I think Tyler Bell is
It's
cooking
gonna
right
be
now.
hard to stop Prep, man. It's gonna be hard to stop Prep. It's like when you play against those, you sparring and you get this. Ah man, I'll put him down. It's like now you building
believe.
up to the champs.
And
Now-
Jordan Rodriguez,
My
I
favorite
think
safety.
will be the X factor in that game. And
That's the only
to
thing
me, he's one of my favorite players to watch right now.
Absolutely, I agree with you on that.
But
I had to look out. I didn't know who he was. I
He's-
went on Max Prep like, who is this kid?
You
And
talk
so-
about what
Yeah.
when you use the word most valuable, and when people say MVPs, that kid is valuable to Marauder Nation.
All right, well, so who you got?
So I'm gonna admit
going-
that I'm about to do something that's kind of weird because I don't know enough about either team this early in the season, and I like to have my facts down. But one of you guys brought up it's going to be a high scoring game.
I think it's gonna be close.
That kind of made me.
because they got
Lean.
Former over there,
Yeah,
and I don't know how they're gonna
maybe
stop
lean on
him.
something.
So
And then
their
there's
defense
another
can't
thing.
stop.
I know you don't like 7-on-7, but Del Barton was definitely good in that
Okay,
7-on-7
Okay, hold on. Let
showcase.
me work.
Tight
Everybody got the work.
Not gonna make
I don't-
it.
You're right, you got it.
I'm
You
gonna
got-
take
you got
mine
the
because
floor.
I ain't got no work with mine. I'm going Del Barton just because, listen, when I seen them last, I know they had some seniors or whatever.
Some they had all seniors.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going Del Barton.
But they don't have a running back from a year ago, so I think the run game part, it's just the tight end and that receiver.
Palmer.
And I don't think the thing is, I feel like Prep just can't stop nobody. They never could stop nobody. It's been like 3 years
I
now.
like Jordan Rodriguez to make some plays against the tight end.
Okay.
He gonna have
so go
to.
ahead.
Can I
Sorry,
go
finish
for
your.
real?
Yeah, sorry.
All
I
right.
just assumed,
So we talked about high scoring game, and as Naj just mentioned now, that reminded me that St. Peter's doesn't play any defense. What I look at Del Barton, what I see is I don't see a team that has the talent that St. Peter's has offensively all around. But what I do see is a very well coached team of
X's
kids that's
and
going to be
O's.
where they're supposed to be. Wrestlers that tackle, know how to tackle. I look at St. Peter's while we're talking about them throwing the ball around. They're averaging like 56 yards a game rushing. That makes you very one-dimensional. And I don't know enough about either team, right? But for the sake of making this good, I'm just going to go with a gut feeling about Del Barton.
So if St. Peter's could get over 100 yards, they got a chance of being Del Barton?
Passing, I think.
Rushing. No, not passing. I was talking about rushing. They're going to get that passing.
Yeah,
I don't think they got anybody that can guard those receivers.
Yeah. Did they have anybody that can guard them last year? That's just a question.
That was a bang out football game too.
But
I think that's what turned around their season.
Did they have anybody that can guard?
St. Peter's in the middle. Yeah.
They're a well-coached team, bro.
Right.
Where's that game at?
Prep, gotta be.
You sure?
Oh, I don't know.
Because that matters too.
That game is at Prep. They're home.
Okay, Friday night in the dark. You ain't out.
Friday or Saturday. Whoever you know how to go with the bookies in Jersey City Field.
Their son is different. When you play there on a Saturday at 1, it's a different feeling. It's a different environment. At Cave Point on a Friday night, it's Wild Lady, and Prep plays their butt off at Cave Point.
That's true.
All right. Well, you got me down for what you got me down for.
So, for time's sake, let's go St. Joe's and PC. Who you got?
What you gonna say? You got talent.
This is what I got. This is what I got. I got Xavier Williams.
Doing what?
Going over 100 yards.
What you got for the game?
So who's winning?
I'm gonna have to go with Joe's.
How'd you do that?
Cause I just feel like Joe's gonna be more well coached, more talent. I take that back.
Never got more talent.
Never
than
got
PC.
more talent than PC.
PC has never had a trouble with
PC
talent.
is always loaded. It's. I want to go with PC, but I can't go with PC because I got to go with Joe's.
Okay. How about you, Justin?
I'm gonna go with Joe's. I think the focus point is going to be a lot on Nate, and I think that's gonna land Makai in the end zone maybe twice for sure. Lamar is gonna have an excellent game. I think he's gonna have to use his legs a little bit more this week compared to using his arm, and he's gonna have to extend plays. But like you said, if St. Joe's could tackle Mr. Williams,
That's a big
they put themselves in a very winning predicament, and I think Paramus Catholic is not getting enough respect right now because I think they're right on that outside bubble, 11, 12 in most polls.
No way they should be
I think, and no disrespect to South Jersey, some of those teams that's in that 7, 8, 9 spot, like a St. Augustine, a Winslow, I don't think they could beat Paramus Catholic. I think Paramus Catholic right now is a top 10 team in New Jersey. And I know they like to spread out the love and whatnot, and it's a long season, and everybody will play themselves out into their records, and things will fall in place. But I think, Paramus Catholic has, earned my respect to be now I can say they're a top 10 team in the state of New Jersey. But this week, I like St. Joe's.
Lenny?
You can go first. I'm trying to look up something.
Who's home?
Okay. Joe's.
Oh,
So I'm going Joe's.
The night pit will be in effect.
I'm going Joe's. I haven't seen. Shout out to Xavier Williams because I think that's amazing. I haven't seen Joe's and PC play since I've been a part of Joe's.
Okay.
I think the same thing. As far as you're gonna focus on one thing, and there's so many things that
Could hurt you.
So you can focus on Nate, right? Okay, that's fine.
And it's gonna be vice
And
versa.
that's not easy to do. Let's talk about that.
Everyone's gonna focus on Xavier too.
That's not easy
True,
to do.
that's
Someone has to, just like we saying,
Right.
someone's got to step up for Joe's. Someone, and Mr. Cologne's gonna have to play a very good game. At the quarterback.
PC got the receiver too, though, right? With and I know they got my young boy, Nakai Martin. He a beast too, number 8.
Okay.
From both teams, there's gonna have to be someone else to step up.
So,
this week.
but there's so many options, right? You got a quarterback who can pass, who can run. You have, we'll see. I don't know what's going on at the running back. You got running backs. You have wide receivers. You have different places to go. I just think it's an amazing game. I'm so excited for it.
It's gonna be tough to stop Xavier Williams.
Honestly, I'm thinking between that, we haven't done a game of the week, between that one and St. Peter's and Del Barton. Who y'all going game of the week? While Lenny continues to look up his.
No, I'm good. I'm ready when y'all.
I'm biased.
So who you got?
What for
a game of the week? Oh, sorry, never mind.
I'm getting my car headed up to Florida. Headed over to Florida this weekend. I'm gonna be biased.
I forgot. Yes, for Pope and Bergen.
That's the next game.
That is. So let's get. Yeah. Go ahead. Who you got?
So, all right. I'm gonna state my concerns, and then I'm gonna try to come back with who I have. All right. So First thing I want to address is that I saw a poll this week in which they put best running backs. They did the odds. I think it was New Jersey Gridiron, I believe, or something like that. And they left Xavier Williams off that. And it was so crazy because they had his running back mate, who's actually injured, on the list as an honorable mention without having Xavier. And the reality of it is, right now, the best two backs that's shown this early in the year is Nolan James and Xavier Williams.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't know what's going to happen as the schedule gets harder. But for right now, those two have shown to be the best back, with Najee Clayton slightly behind. I'm dropping them a little after this week at Iona Prep. Y'all was sleepwalking. That's going to cost you, son. Bounce back against Bosco. We're going to get you back up.
And that boosted Talik up.
Talik definitely.
And I don't even think, he was on there. He was on that list.
Oh, he was. He's South Jersey kid, though, Asbury, but that's how they do
it. Yeah. That's what it was. Because it was some kid, I'm like, who? But whatever. So, what am I thinking? Obviously, Xavier, this is big for him. I know that he really wants this one. I know that Joe's really struggles to tackle. Xavier's a wrestler guy. He is, good leverage, different things like that. So, you're going to have to get low and you're going to have to hit Xavier. And as you brought me back to reality with, he's like big bro to a lot of those kids. They grew up in the same program, and there's such thing that does exist called the mental edge, right? We saw it. We saw it in different situations with Division I guys last year, right? We saw these things, right? And that thing really does play a factor. So will Issa want to pull up and tackle him? Will KJ McClain? Hold on. This is my turn.
Okay.
My turn.
So let's go back to Issa. Okay.
Will KJ McClain? I'm just naming Brick City guys that played under him. Mm-hmm. Will KJ McClain, want to pull up and tackle him? Will Jameer want to tackle him? Will Trayvon? These are question marks. I can't tell you for sure. There's certain years I could tell you. There's a certain kid I'm like, I don't. If Jordan Rodriguez was on that team, Jordan Rodriguez is going to try to decapitate him. And I would be comfortable saying that. So that's going to present some problems.
Do you think Jameer will hit him in this?
I just got through saying that, bro.
Okay.
You was prepared, but you a little late, man. You're a little late.
Go ahead.
But I also know that Joe's is at home. I know Paramus Catholic has had 2 weeks to prepare for this game. I've heard about this since the winter time as the circle game on their schedule. Because you look at the schedule, I mean, everybody.
This is definitely game of the week, though.
Yeah, I believe so. Everybody.
Because Paramus Catholic is undefeated.
Mm-hmm. Everybody on the Paramus side expected to be undefeated heading to this game. And this is the game that lets you know we're back living. We're no longer dying, we're living. So there's a lot that's going into this. I know that Russo is a very, very, very smart guy. Very smart. That's one thing he is. He's very smart. They'll have the iPads on the sideline. They'll know what you're running. I've been on Paramus Catholic sideline before. They'll know what you're running. It's just a matter of now will those kids execute. I hear it's a tighter bunch. I hear there was some me guys that was on the team last year that's gone, and that's what's allowed them to come back from deficits down to St. Peter's. They had a tough one the last game that they blew open too. I forgot. Oh, Pope John. They lost to Pope John last year. These are games they
last 3 years.
Yeah, they would have rolled over and lost. So this is a different bunch. This is Augie's first year. This game really matters to them as well, right? Every game matters because you're here to say something's different now, right? Something's different now than before I got here. This is why they paid you to come here. So, I'm naming all of that because in years past, I would have said Joe's going to boat race them, 44-0 type of game. I'm actually expecting a football game.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Will they actually play defense too, because now I know we're moving forward and the weeks are going by quick. Regardless of their win over Prep, they still gave up 47 points.
I was just about to say that.
You got to.
All right, I got Joe's.
And they gave. Hold on. And they gave up 47 points at home. Joe's is home, right? At the end of the day, the plus I think for Paramus Catholic is that they're off this week.
Yeah, I think that helps.
And I think we talked about it where Xavier, I hope he got into the cryo chamber and took care of his body. Probably only needs to practice.
He gets a lot of carries too.
I'm about to say probably only gonna practice twice this week. Like, you know, but I just, you know, that's my big question mark is that even though they beat St. Peter's, they still gave up 47 points at home. And I think right now, from what I've seen in this season, I think Joe's is probably just a little bit more explosive than St. Peter's Prep. So that's my biggest question.
So let me push back with the explosive. I agree with you on the thing, but one thing I noticed about St. Peter's, which will allow them to put up 44, which will probably Joe's are probably handcuffed from putting up 44. Oh, and I owe Joe's an apology. They came out and put up 43 in the first half after I questioned whether their offense, what was going on with that. But St. Peter's is their plays. They're running like
up tempo gives you that.
Joe
gives you that
organ
organ
time to run. So you're
gonna catch you off. They'll catch you off and
out of alignment, different things like that.
And they're going up top. That ball is traveling 35, 40 yards in the air whenever they get a chance. I think, you know, Joe's, you know, likes to reel you in a little bit more than St. Peter's.
Y'all got me. I'm on the record now. I'm telling.
Because like you said, St. Peter's.
I'm going with Joe's by double figures.
I wasn't saying that much, but I do want to address
Justin brought
he brought it back to you.
Like, we're dealing with the statistics, right? We
are
with the numbers.
I know where this guy is waiting.
Right. But I do want to say something before when we talk about mental and that big brother, little brother mindset. When we talk about, we can't put Issa Abdul Salam in that.
Well, I'm just listening to
No, I'm going to tell you why, though.
The president.
I understand, but I was there on all those teams. And Issa played with them. He went down 1 year and then came back up. So he's not looking at, he won with Xavier.
Yeah, but he's still.
So I'm not saying that.
Hold on, Tris, let me get it. It sounds like you couldn't wait to get here to get at Nas.
No, because you just said it. I'm just saying. I'm not.
Major shout out to Issa.
I'm just saying that Issa is not a little, like, whether body-wise, maybe, but KJ was on the younger team, but Issa was not.
Yes, he played with them, but Xavier Williams was a goon then and now. Like
absolutely.
A grown man.
We're talking mindset. I'm not saying.
No, he said.
I'm not. No, he said mindset.
With him, yes.
Right. I'm saying that he's not going to have a shell shock of, oh, that's my big brother. That's all I'm speaking of. I'm not saying Xavier. I think it's about. He's big and he's fast. Not taking that from him.
No.
He's big and he's fast.
You got the message construed. This messed up. Anyhow. It's not about what Issa thinks. It's about what I said Xavier gonna look at him as is his little bro.
But what I'm reminding him, do not, because he was on the team with you. Xavier can look at the whole everybody as their little brother.
It's not about
that's what he said.
That's what I'm saying. Everybody, because he is who he is. I'm talking about all across everybody.
That's why his numbers look the way they do. Because he is looking at it like that.
But what I'm saying is that they're not going to have that shell shock.
It's nobody on Joe's that's going to come hit him in his chest. Let's just end it at that. It's nobody going to hit him in his chest.
Once they stop it out, where they hit him at.
Big brother, little brother. Will Joe's defense buy in to tackling and swarming the ball? It's not gonna. No, you're not gonna be able to take him down.
Right,
I'm telling you that. Like one person, right?
It's not
gonna happen. I didn't say that.
Is Joe's buying into a defensive mentality of, hey, we're playing fast, we're tackling, we're swarming. Those are things that you can, control as far as on the defense. Yeah, you might miss the tackle, but did you go from the corner? Is Jameer Joseph, is he going to run hard to go chase Xavier down on a 5-yard line? Those are the little things that could be the difference, because now you can walk away with 3 points out of a big run compared to scoring a touchdown. Right. So when I say, and going back to Campanelli, he used to call it swarm focus, and he used to call this swarm focus on the offense side of the ball, because as receivers, he used to make us chase down our running backs and go find blocks downfield But on the defensive side of things, can they do that as far as is Joe's going to buy in together as a team to make this come together collectively?
Mm-hmm.
Because if he get in open space, like let's say he gets through the hole, right? I'm trying to imagine who's going to come and just. I can't see that happening.
I know, and like I said, he's fast. Also, I watched him in track. Shout out to you. I don't want to make it seem I'm just saying the mindset. I'm going back to the mindset. I'm not talking about the body. I'm not talking about, but the mindset is. He's one of them backs that you got to get to him before he gets started. Absolutely.
If he gets started, you could cancel it. That's
I agree
all
with
I'm
that.
saying.
I agree with that. Catch him in the backfield. I'm not.
I think he's gonna have a big. I really think Xavier's still gonna have a big day. My main concern is for both teams. Who's going to be the other guy to step up and steal the show? Because I think when this game is over with, whoever everyone probably has in their head as their player of the game, it's going to be someone else as the player of the game.
Right.
Oh, absolutely. Somebody that nobody is watching.
So it's going to be someone that's going to have to, step up and make some plays.
All right, so we already said that. That means that St. Joe's versus PC is our game of the week, and we want to see who do you have? Who do you have? Leave it in the comments. Who do you have for the winner of the game of the week, which is St. Joe's versus PC. So moving along, we have Pope John and Bergen Catholic.
Zone6ix Classic.
I'll go first.
Okay.
Bergen Catholic.
Now you got to give us a breakdown. No, I'm just
I do not choose my teams when I have my
okay.
I do not,
we will let you.
But I will take this time to still speak and promote my own game.
Yep.
Where tickets are now available on eventbrite.com. Make sure you get to Sparta. We put the game at 2 o'clock so you can travel and get there on time. Because I know when it's a 1 o'clock game, that means you got to start your day at 10:30. So we gave you extra 2 hours because Pope John usually plays home games at 12 o'clock.
Right,
Most people don't even realize that.
The noise.
Yep. So the game got approved for 2 o'clock. We're looking forward to seeing, 2 teams in the top 20 of the state of New Jersey. At the end of the day, it's going to be a fun family atmosphere where Zone6ix is going to bring the energy and bring you more than your traditional high school football game. So make sure you come over to Sparta if you're not over in Montville seeing St. Joe's and Paramus Catholic, because that is another game to go to as well.
Okay, and we can put the link in the description box, so that could be easier for you guys to get tickets if you want tickets for that game.
Appreciate it.
So, Nas, who you got?
I'm big Popey on the low, but I could say this. I know it don't matter who Talib Hill play against. He's going to do him, right? He's going to do him. Shout out to my guy Wes Johnson and Tyler as well. Coach Dom is my guy. I love you, Coach. But
That's not hard, man. Come on.
I'm going with Bergen.
All right. Come on, man.
I thought this was going to be a quick one. Sorry. Okay,
and Dom he graduated from Bergen Catholic. Most people don't know. He's a Bergen.
Big Bergen. On him.
He's a Bergen guy.
So yeah, I'm going Bergen with that. And shout out to Gibbs. Gibbs is the OC for Pope John.
Right.
So all right. So Bosco's on the bye. And that's everybody, right? We did that. DePaul Seton Hall Prep.
DePaul.
All right. DePaul. Sweet. All right. And that's another episode of
Keep It Above.